Okay, so we are live and okay. How's everybody doing?
Doing
Well,
great.
Okay. Thank you guys for coming on board. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am grateful that today we get to have this live podcast. So we will start off by just introduction. I know. So this is the EBI podcast, and today we have Mya Freeman, a Gilman International Scholar for 2009, 2019, 2019, and okay, perfect. That's what I wanted. So yeah, I'm weird like that. Thank you. I gotta figure it out. So yeah, so today we are excited. We want to bring to you story about study abroad, story about volunteer intern abroad, to give you an overview of how people have done it. So we have Maya here, and I have my co-host Ben also here with me. So today we're just gonna just give you every I guess Maya is just gonna help you to understand that where she comes from, who she is as a person, and how her journey was for her, what she had to go through to be able to go to do her study abroad, and for you to understand that if she can do it, you too can also do it. We want to bring you faces of international education for you to
Hmm.
understand that if she can do it, if you can do it, then why can I do it? And then for you to understand, learn the benefit, the things that she experienced, what she gained out of it, to help you to also tap into this amazing experience. So I will yield to Maya. Maya is here, right? So Maya is here, and I want her to just give us a little bit about when we meet Maya anywhere. We want to get to know who is Maya.
can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mya Freeman. I am from Jacksonville, Florida. I am a senior majoring in the Bachelor of Fine Arts program at Florida State University, located in Tallahassee, Florida. And I graduate in spring 21.
Thank you
No problem.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
so much. So Maya said you are graduating next year, 2021, right?
Yes.
Okay, so from what we talked about, I just want to understand when it comes to international education, what does it mean to you as an individual?
You said, what has it
When
done
it
for
comes
me?
to international education, what can you say about that? What does it mean to you as a person?
So, international study or internships are definitely a humbling experience, and they open your perspective a lot wider than what you may see by just being in your hometown or just being in the United States of America or wherever your home country is. You get to see how things are alike or different from where you stay, and so it's very beneficial in that way.
Okay, so so we know that you are Gilman alone, so we want to know how was the process? Have you always wanted to study abroad and all those things? Like, what prompted you to want to study abroad? Can you hear me? Is my mic okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I first came to college, I got accepted into the CARE program. That's a program for first generation low income college students. So basically, to be accepted into the program, you have to come from a certain economic status, and both of your parents can't have a college degree. And so in CARE, they would plug us into a lot of resources around campus, such as the Office of National Fellowships. And there they help a lot of students with finding opportunities to go abroad and how to fund those opportunities. And then also when we would have our meetings within CARE, there was a student that I'm still friends with today. He basically came up and gave his testimony about his abroad experience. And so that really inspired me to do the same as him. And so the people that he mentioned who helped him get to where he was, I made sure that I reached out to those people. And I knew for sure that I wanted to go to Africa. And so FSU had this program called the Global Scholars Program. And so basically I applied for that and I got accepted in 2018. And then all of that was happening at the same time that I was applying for Gilman and other travel grants. And so then I got the Gilman scholarship, and then I also got a scholarship from the CARE program to travel abroad. And so thankfully both of those paid, cover all of my expenses. And so the Global Scholars Program is a 3-semester, it's a 3-part program. And so basically the fall semester, you take a class in spring before you go, because I traveled to Senegal in the summer of 2019.
Okay.
You take a class prior, and that helps you prepare, and then you take a class after that to help you present what you learned while you were abroad. And so definitely the Global Scholars Program helped me get through that process, as well as Gilman and the CARE program. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I like the fact that you said you piggyback from somebody's experience. Somebody that you knew had done it, and then you were like, hey, how did you do it? And the person was generous enough to say, hey, I did this, I did that, and I did this, and this is how I got there. And you went through the same steps. So with the program at your school, can you give a little bit, because every school is different, and we want people to understand that your first place, if you want to do a study abroad, intern abroad and stuff, your first place is your school. So can you give an idea, people some kind of information, like how do you start from when it comes to really your school? Where do you go? What are some of the department names that you have to use to look for those programs?
Definitely. So specifically at Florida State University, we have an office called the Office of National Fellowships. So my advice to anyone else in their institutions, look for the offices that cater to travel grants, looking for abroad opportunities and things of that nature. And usually it'll be in the name. Like, for example, ours is Office of National Fellowships. And so, it's like going national. And so through that office, they do have advisors that can help students. And you can simply just go in and say, hey, I know that I want to go abroad, but I don't know how to do it. And those advisors should be able to help you apply and review your essays and things of that nature.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really excited that you had to go through all the process and you were really determined to go. How much? How did you and your family come to terms with it? Like how much support did you get from them?
Well, I've never traveled outside of the US before college. My mom never traveled outside of the US. And so for her as a mother, she was a little nervous for me just because I was going to be abroad, on an entire other continent in a whole nother country for 2 whole months. And so she was really nervous for me, but as it got closer, she was more reassured that I would be okay as I explained everything to her. So, yeah. But she was very supportive.
Everybody else in your family was okay with you? Like how did the communication go? Did you guys like try to, I don't know if there were like a lot of social media communication, while you were there, like how was your communication process when you got there?
So when I got there, the cellular connection wasn't as strong as it was in my hometown. And so if I was just walking around, I probably wouldn't be able to contact my family. I had to be in one spot to really get a good connection. And then also we were given phones when we got there that could make more secure calls. So when it came to being in contact with my family, they were they were pretty much in the loop. I used WhatsApp. That was a lot easier than using text messages. I don't think I could text the entire time I was there. So I used WhatsApp, and then I used Wi-Fi to use WhatsApp. And so that's how I messaged my mom and my mentor.
Nice. So how is the sound okay? I keep hearing. Okay. So how will you really explain the application process for like Gilman, or even the application process for the program that you did in school? Because sometimes application is what really deters people from really applying to these programs.
So the application processes are going to be hefty. There's really no way around it. And so when approaching, I know it can be very intimidating because we're like, oh, what if I do all this work and I don't get it? And so the best way to ensure that you have a good chance is to work with somebody who knows what they're doing. Like, don't just go into the process by yourself. For example, in the Office of National Fellowships, I work with an advisor there by the name of Jesse Leland, and he literally helped me through the Global Scholars application and Gilman, at all of it. And so you're going to have questions, and so work with somebody who has experience with those applications. You're going to write multiple essays. You're going to revise those essays over 5 times. It's just a part of the process, and you have to have the patience and endurance to get through it, along with somebody who can mentor you through it.
Okay. Okay. Good. So then I would say that what were some of the questions in the application that stood out to you?
That was a while ago. That was a while ago since I applied for that, but I can talk. Well, I remember I can kind of talk in what they referred to, but I don't remember a specific question. So basically, the questions, what they want to hear or what they were asking is why you deserve that money. Like, what about your experience is different from someone else's? Why do you deserve to go abroad? So it's a lot of convincing and justifying your reason. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I can say about it.
Yeah, because I know that there are students that they get angry because they didn't get it, but sometimes it's like you gotta really sell your story because yes, study abroad, some people think it's a vacation and stuff, but you gotta really be able to um, give a narrative that shows that yes, even though you're gonna be going for vacation, somehow at the back of your mind, but at the end of it all, you are going for an educational experience. So just you have that open mind that you want to go and learn about different cultures. Because if you just say that, oh, my family lives there or my cousin lives there, so I want to just go and visit, they are not going to they will not even take you serious. So one of the things I know about the application process is that make it something that is more educational, that you want to be a diploma or be diplomatic in all those stuff. So you want to be go and represent the United States, and that will give it a little bit leg up than just saying that, oh, I just want to go and I guess try different food and stuff. So that yeah. So how long? What was the, I would say, the timeline? How long did it take you to apply and to like people need to know that like you cannot just wake up today and then
Yeah.
tomorrow you say, hey, I want to travel. So can you give us how you did it? What was the timeline you gave yourself?
Mm-hmm. So the application process from me deciding that I wanted to do it and then going through the applications was about a semester, so 4.5 months. So at the beginning of the semester, I reached out to the Office of National Fellowships. Hey, I want to do this. And then they work with me to give me deadlines outside of the hard deadlines with Global Scholars and Gilman so that I could be sure that I was ahead of the game. And so I would say if you're going to decide that you want to pursue that, you need to decide at least 1 to 2 semesters ahead of time. Because even after I applied, then I had the semester to prepare to go abroad. And so it takes a lot of time.
Wow, that is, yeah, that's a good insight. Um, are you hearing echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that's a great insight. So why Senegal? Like of all the countries, why did you want to choose Senegal?
So through Global Scholars, we work with a program called Amprakash. And that's the educational program that Global Scholars uses to educate their students who are going to go abroad about cultural sensitivity, and just how to prepare in general. And so through Amprakash, there's a search engine where you can look up nonprofit organizations, that you can go volunteer at. And so while you're searching it, there's a search engine whether you want to be associated with engineering or arts. And so when I did my search, I made sure that it was with arts, it was with children, it was educational. And there was a location in Saint Louis, Senegal called Maison de la Gare. And so that center stood out to me the most out of all of the nonprofits that came out of my search. And it just so happened to be in Saint Louis, Senegal.
Well, that's awesome. Um, so when it comes to that very day that you were leaving, like when you got there, like what was the culture shock? Like what's so different? Like how did you adapt when you got there?
Um, well, my first impression, I love Senegal. It was absolutely gorgeous. Um, I think what was my biggest culture shock? Probably just like the living conditions or setting. Like I was there with one other global scholar, and we did stay in a house, but just like the infrastructure was a little different from the houses here. Um, so just adjusting in that, like the bathrooms were a little different. And then I know in Senegal, when you use the bathroom, they use water to clean versus here we use toilet paper. And so that was a little different for me too. So just small things like that. And the streets are very, very busy. There are a lot of small shops on the sides of the streets. Um, People are just out and about. But I loved it. I loved the energy of Senegal. Saint Louis, Senegal. So yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah, I know.
so when it comes to you going to a new country that you've never been to, was there any language requirement for you to do it? Did you learn anything? What is the language that they speak in Senegal and all those stuff? How did you prepare for that?
So so I knew that they spoke, their national language was French, and then their native language was Wolof, and then they also speak another language called Pular. And so I was aware of those, but because of the center that I was going to, they were like, "Oh yeah, we speak English here too." So I went. They spoke English at the center, but me not thinking through things. I'm like, okay, everybody may not speak English outside of the center. And so that happened. And so getting there, going back to culture shock, that was probably the biggest culture shock because and just me being a visitor to their country, it kind of made me feel really bad for having the audacity to come to their country and not know their language, that kind of thing. And so I was going through these feelings of imposter syndrome, like, why am I even here? Do I deserve to be here? And so, yeah, if your country speaks a different language, at least know some of it. I learned more of their native language than French because in Senegal, the younger children know more of the native language than French, just because you learn French in what is it called? You learn French whenever you go to school. And at the center, there were a lot of younger boys who hadn't learned it yet. So.
Okay.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, because I mean I'm just trying to figure out how you were able to communicate with the French and the native language when your first language is English. Like did you have like a someone to help you out initially, or like how, did the program come with it?
So at FSU, they have language classes, and you can choose to take those on your that's your personal choice whether you take those classes or not. I also went to Senegal with one other global scholar, and Thankfully, she knew French. Like she took 3 years of French in high school, and so she was just like, "Oh, my French is so bad," but I'm like, "Look at me. So you're way better than than I am." So she helped me communicate with my host mother, but again, I don't like repetitively asking people to help me, and so eventually I learned what I had to learn to get what I needed. And get through the rest of the trip.
So you can
So
speak now. Can you speak French in a native language right now?
yeah, I only know like small, very, very little like conversational things in Wolof. Because I learned more Wolof than I did
Mhm.
French. So yeah, that was very interesting.
I know right now we're making you leave those. You got like remembering all those crazy days, right? So
Yeah.
we just learned that you had it's a homestay or stay home parent and stuff. Can you elaborate on that? Because some people are like, oh my god, how am I gonna survive? Because I quite remember I have had some student that will say, oh, I'm not gonna have my mom and dad with me, so I can't do it. Oh, what food are they gonna cook for me? All those stuff. It's like those things even freak them out. The fact that it won't be their mom or dad helping them out and stuff. So can you give a little bit about how life was with your parents overseas and stuff?
Definitely. So my host mother, me and the other global scholar, we stayed in a room together, and then we both had like bug nets just to make sure we could sleep comfortably at night. But my host mother, she also had someone to assist her with making meals. A lot of the people who were in the house were her family members. And so every night we would eat a dish called no, not Jeddah. See, the language is coming back. Not Jeddah. We would eat chibujin, and that was rice and boiled vegetables and fish. And so we would like alternate between rice, white rice, and brown rice with the chibujin. So they cook for us every night, and then for breakfast they would lay out bread and tea. And then she would give us wash buckets whenever we needed to wash our clothes. And the culture is a lot more inclusive and more family oriented, I would say. And just because me and the other global scholar that I was there with, we would be in our room a lot. And our host mother would want us to come out and like want us to come to the living room,
Right.
drink Bissap and eat fruit with her. And so that it was a lot different in that way, because I know when I'm at my mom's home, I can be in my room all day, that type of thing. So yeah, it was different in that way.
Nice. So now your home, like now you just put it you just touch on different types of families and stuff. So can you give an I just want to, because I'm me being African, I would say that we are more used to being family oriented and stuff. Like I was saying back home in Ghana, Ben would say, Ben, can you add on to it when it comes to the African community and stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah. I know it's true. I mean, it's a community family base, and you we're not too isolated. Yeah, you gotta be really comfortable with everybody. It doesn't matter if they're related to you or not, and I think that's one of the beautiful things in terms of when it comes to West African culture. Like everyone is included in raising a child, basically. So yeah, it's awesome. I really want to know the food, like like you got to tell me what was your favorite food, how you get adjusted. Did you take some snacks with you, just start with, and you got into the traditional food? Like how was it?
So surprisingly, I didn't bring any snacks with me. If I if I purchased snacks, I got it from the gas station up the street. And they usually had like Oreos, cheeses. stuff like that. But I was very much, ready to jump into the culture and experience it and eat the foods and dishes that they ate there. My favorite snack was beignets and bissap. I could eat it every day if I wanted to. Just going to and from work, there would be a lady selling like fresh, hot and fresh beignets on the side of the street, along with frozen bissap. And so it's like this warm treat with a cold drink on a hot day in Saint Louis, Senegal. It was really good. And then I can't remember the name, but they have this type of beef stew that they would eat as well. And then I really wish I could remember the name, but there was also it was like this triangular sandwich with egg and lettuce and tomato in it. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how will you differentiate the meal back home, back in Senegal, and comparing it here? Because sometimes it's like we know. I would say, for my own craziness, okay, we find ourselves like, oh, Asian food is very popular in the United States. Even Indian food is very popular. Italian food is very popular. Or when it comes to African food in America, it's not that popular. Because I remember even going to high school here and talking about fufu and all those stuff, people just always frown on African food and stuff. I don't know, maybe it's presentation that has made it not be on a global scale. So can you give somebody in the background, because food is one of the biggest reasons why people don't like to travel outside their home country. So can you give a background about what is the difference and what are the similarities and stuff?
I would say more specifically for the dish, chibujin, there's a lot of carbs. So if you're afraid that you aren't gonna get carbs, you're gonna get carbs. So you don't have to worry about that. In Saint Louis, Senegal specifically, they do eat a lot of fish, because the fishing industry is like very heavy there in Saint Louis, Senegal. A lot of the young men and older men, like their day jobs are to go out and fish, and then they sell fish in the market. So I would say there they eat a lot more fish. Also, fish is a cheaper option for meals, and which is another reason why they buy more fish than chicken or something else. So you're gonna get a lot of fish in Senegal. You're gonna get a lot of carbs. So
Yeah, but you get to walk it off, though. You do a lot of walking, right?
definitely, because I walk to and from my workplace every day, and it wasn't a short walk. So, and whenever I wanted to get to the other side of town, I walked / take city buses. So it's definitely.
Which city in Senegal? Is it Dakar?
So the plane landed in Dakar, but we resided in Saint Louis. And so Saint Louis is like right on the coast, but it's like the mainland, and then in between you have an island, and then on the other side of the island you have a peninsula, and that's where the beach is. And so it's really gorgeous. So to get to the beach, you have to cross 2 bridges, and then you have to take a city bus to get to either north or south of the beach. So it's definitely a day trip if you're gonna go from the mainland to the beach. Yeah, and then because the buses are like really busy, people just kind of they will literally see the bus come by and hop on the bus. The bus will not stop. So yeah, it's an adventure, but it's really fun.
So you did internship, right? That's what you were doing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So did you bring in any credits? Just internship credits?
Yes. So internship credits. So how they work the prior semester, so spring semester was 1 credit. My time abroad was 1 credit, and then my time after was 1 credit. And so usually a typical class is worth 3 credits, and so it totaled up to 3 credits.
That's nice. That's nice. So what company did you work at for the internship?
So I was working at a nonprofit organization called Maison de la Gare, and
By the way, you say that name so good, right, Ben? Really good.
Yeah, you do really well.
Yeah.
I had to learn it the right way. I had to learn.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing also.
Thank you. Like before, I was like, is it St. Louis, Senegal? They're like, no, it's San Luis, Senegal. Got you. But so yeah, I worked at Maison de la Gare, and they are a nonprofit organization that works with small Taliban children. And so in Senegal, and I know surrounding countries also have Taliban children too, but in Senegal is 92% Muslim, and so the system is really unique. So young boys at a very young age, they get sent away to Quranic schools to learn to study the Quran. And so a lot of times they come from villages that are away from the city, but their schools, or what they call their dadas, are in the city because it's more profitable to have your dada in the city versus the villages back at home. And so the children are away in the cities at the dadas, and they're learning the Quran, but a lot of times they don't have all of the necessary resources that they need, whether it's food to purchase, money to purchase food every day, or have clothes on their backs and things of that nature. And so the main issue that you will see if you visit San Luis, Senegal, is a lot of the Taliban children will be on the sides of the streets, begging for money, or you'll see them in very rough clothing, just not like in the best condition. And so the nonprofit organization Maison de la Gare aided in providing those children with the resources that they lack, so they could come to the center. They could get a new set of clothes if their clothes were too torn. They could brush their teeth. They could wash their clothes. They could get medical attention. They could learn a little bit of English if they wanted to. They could do arts and crafts. They could do music. Like literally, it was a center. It was like a safe haven for the Taliban in San Luis, Senegal. And so my role at the center was to engage the Taliban children in the arts. And so every day we would have a coloring activity or a painting activity, making our own flags, where the children can make flags of the countries from where they were from. There was like a little inside joke. So you have Senegal, and then you have Gambia. And so a lot of if you weren't from Senegal, a lot of the Taliban were from Gambia, and they would just always be like, oh, Gambia is better than Senegal, Senegal is better than Gambia. And so I was like, you know what, we're gonna be Senegambia, and we're just gonna make flags for both countries. That's what I found out. That's what
You're pretty. I say you're on. Mm-hmm. You're on peace, or you're on peace mission to bring peace.
Yes, because I was like, it doesn't matter where you're from, we're all great. And then I found out Senegambia was an actual place. So
Oh wow, is it really?
I Google Maps it.
Oh wow,
Wow.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, usually when people in America, they have a lot of myth about places that they're going, like places outside the US. So what kind of myth did you bust? How, like, what did not like how did you how like, is there any myth that you were able to bust while you were there?
Well, I would say the biggest myth is that people have this vision of what the scenery of Africa looks like, and they just think all of Africa are just these plains and trees, and I'm just like, well, me personally, I knew before I got there, like that wasn't true. That the country is too large, is too beautiful. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, how could somebody just have one perception about such a huge piece of land, and so me personally, I knew that before I got there, but I would say that through my experience, I was able to then share that to help people understand that no, it's not like that everywhere you go in Africa. But myths that I had myself, I can't really think of any. I don't feel like there were any pressing myths that that just kind of like blew my mind. But
Well, Akon is from there, so you probably I don't know if you knew that they had like celebrities like Akon coming from the country. So you maybe whatever how he how he sings and how he reacts, maybe it's gonna be the same thing that you were gonna go see the man over
Mhm.
there do that. So but in when it comes to academically, what did you bring? Like how when you went there, is there anything that you were able to learn that you brought into your everyday life? Because for me, well, I think one of the struggles or one of the things that we find out doing this mission with minority students is they don't find the value on in traveling.
Mhm.
So like what kind of value, or what did you bring that made you want to like advise someone in your position to do the same?
Um, Trying to think of an answer to that question. Is there a way you can like try and restate?
What I'm trying to say, basically, in the minority community, one of the one way that we struggle in traveling is we don't think there's value in travel. Like it doesn't really help us in terms of career wise and community wise. We don't see why we should study abroad
or intern abroad.
or intern abroad. Yeah. So
Mhm.
like, what would you say that made you? What advice would you give the people that are struggling with that, like that question?
So I would say that, all your life you grew up in this one area and you think well, not everybody, but majority of us think that we've learned, everything that we can just from growing up in that one area or being in that one country, but you will never truly understand how the entire world works until you are in those places. Um, of course, I haven't been to every single place on this planet Earth, but being able to travel to Senegal gave me a better understanding of economics, governmental systems, and just opening my eyes up in that way.
Yeah, no, because I think I was reading an article recently, and a lot of minority students are dropping out of high school because of the way technology, like virtual learning, is. So, and we've been studying, we doing this. We've seen the benefit of like travel abroad, or intern abroad does with career. And so, um, one of the awareness that we want to put out there is, the minority students should be able to be comfortable traveling because there's a lot of advantage or benefits in doing that. And so
Mhm.
we actually looking for like people like you to just be an advocate and let people understand that it's okay. There are a lot of benefits in there. You don't have to. It's not a black and white thing. It's basically a human thing. You're gonna have to you gain a lot just sacrificing and traveling. So yeah, it seeing someone like you doing it. It gives a lot of people get very comfortable seeing people like you doing it and all that. So appreciate you coming on and doing that.
Yeah.
Letitia.
Yeah, for me, I think one of the biggest thing I would say is that the internship that you did in Senegal,
Mhm.
how has it really helped you when it comes to your, I would say, your purpose, your career? Like how would you say this thing has really helped me to find myself of who I am as Maya? Can you give, because we know that travel brings freedom. We know travel helps one to find themselves. But I want to hear from you. Share with somebody like, this is why I want you to do an internship or volunteer or study abroad.
Mhm. Of course. So the one of the main purposes of internships is to help you solidify your purpose, like he said. and to help you get a more clear vision of what it is that you want to do. And me being a fine arts major, I know that I want to be in a creative career whenever I graduate. But I did have questions of whether I wanted to work with children, whether I didn't want to work with children. And so going to Senegal and working with the children at the center gave me that clarity. And I love working with children. And so that is something that I would be more interested in doing in the future since I've had that experience. And then also the network, because say, for example, like you graduated and you were looking for a job. It made you very much may go and work with wherever you interned at. You could have the possibility to do that again, or the organization that you work with could have connections in other people that you could work with. And so that's another plus with interning abroad, just the network and then solidifying your purpose.
Okay, that's good. I always say, like Ben will say, Letitia, you share your story and stuff. Like I know we would not be sitting here if I hadn't done my study abroad and stuff. So it to me, I would say I remember. We will talk about that later, but I would say that doing this thing really made me more mature, and that I would say was when you are outside the country, like going to college and being on campus, it really makes you mature. No doubt about that. But when you go outside the country, you get more mature. Like you are forced to grow up real quick because you know that anything stupid that you do, there is nobody to bail you out real quick. It's like your mom cannot just get on the train or the plane and just come and bail you. You gotta go through the process. So when you're about to do anything, you think like, okay, if something bad happens, am I gonna just be free, or what will be the consequence and stuff? So it gives you that responsibility. It makes you more responsible from what I have experienced. So now we have some few minutes left. I want you to take us through when you were getting ready to leave Senegal. Some of the emotions, some of the things that you went through, and then when you got done from that, we will go from coming back home and stuff.
So when I was getting ready to leave, it was a mix of like being nervous, but also excited because, this is a whole new journey and I don't really know what to expect. And that in itself is a little nerve-wracking and exciting. And so probably had a bunch of calls with my mom. She was like, Myah, do you have this, 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 this? And I was like, yes, I have that. Just going over packing lists 1,000 times, just really trying to make sure that I was okay. One mistake that I did make when going there is I forgot to withdraw cash before I started taking my flights. And it wasn't the fact that I didn't know to do that. I was just procrastinating on that matter. So when I got to the host country, we had to like go to the bank and do it. But it would have been a lot easier if I would have
done it.
I took my cash out prior or traded it at the airport or something like that. So definitely do that. And then I would, so I was nervous, excited type thing. And then on my way coming home, honestly, it was a very sad mood. It was so sad. It was so sad. Just because after you spend 2 months with a group of people, it breaks your heart because I worked with the young kids for 2 months and a part of me felt bad. Again, like I'm always feeling bad for something. It's like I came there, I created this relationship with them, and now I have to go. And, you just feel bad for doing that. But then I also created relationships with some older Taliban children. And I was closer to them, of course, because they were just in my age range and I could better communicate with them. They were sad. They were sobbing. I was like, please don't cry. Like I was crying. It was ridiculous. So yeah, they're really sweet though. we usually communicate on like Facebook or Instagram from time to time. And then we follow each other on social media. And so it's that kind of thing. So yeah, it was very heartbreaking, but refreshing to also be back in your own space after having a roommate. um, so yeah, it was bittersweet going and coming home.
Did you
Okay.
get homesick?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So you made a point about forgetting or procrastinating on exchanging your money. Can
Mhm.
you now give some of the, I guess, some of the things that you have to, your must do stuff? Some of the things that looking back, these were the things that I had to do. Like even before that, like when it comes to dress code, dressing, outfit, and stuff. What can you say to somebody that want to travel to Africa and stuff and say, hey, this is what they are? Because some people are like, I don't know what to wear. Like
Yeah.
this is this, and for me, I remember when you're about to go to do study abroad, they'll give you a list of things to pack, and I naively, I I picked up. I went through to make sure I got all those stuff, like have two jeans and two shirt, all those stuff. And I got there, and I'm like, holy crap, this people are, I'm too big, and the Asians are really small, tiny people. So how am I even gonna get outfit and stuff? So what really made me grow, I would say, is the fact that I was forced to wash my clothes every night so that they can dry up for me to wear them until eventually I got used to the community that I can go to the supermarket and buy clothing and stuff. So what are some of the, like, how was your packing? What did you pack and all those things?
So I definitely packed heavy, but
Well,
I
you were better than me.
packed heavy, but they did advise us to pack light. And after that experience, I would advise for people to pack light. Um, I would say don't pack any more than maybe a week's worth of clothes because think about it, you're gonna have to wash that at the end of the week, and you're gonna have to hand wash it,
Yeah.
depending. So versus if you just have a small amount of clothes, your washing process would be a lot easier for you. Especially if you know you don't hand wash clothes on a regular, it's gonna be pretty tiring. So definitely pack light and have clothes that you can wear over and over again. I did bring like special occasion clothes, just in case me and my friends went out. So maybe have like one or two of those. But if majority of your work is going to be working with a nonprofit or just going to class or something, you don't need to be dressed up every day. So just bring regular clothes. Um, yeah, and then I brought one pair of shoes. No, I actually brought two. I think I brought sandals and I brought tennis shoes.
Okay.
And those are the only shoes that I run with me. I would definitely say have a battery pack. My mom made sure I had a battery pack because she was like, Maya, what if your phone dies? What if you don't have a plug outlet? And also bring I forget the actual name of it, but the plug outlet converter.
Yeah, the universal one. That is a game changer, girl.
And I actually purchased mine in the airport. Don't be like me.
You crazy, seriously. Nah, I'm just was my friend.
Yeah, so get one of those, and then so a battery pack, outlet converter. Another thing I would say is definitely book your flights as soon as you possibly can, because the closer it gets to the deadline, the more scarce they get, and then the more expensive they get, and you don't want to run into that. Um, have your passport, have important documents like your birth certificate, um, things like that. So just in case something happens to you, people can identify you. Um, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, this is something.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Did you bring
Very
anything back?
Did I bring what?
Did you bring any souvenir or anything back from?
Yes, so I actually brought a bunch of bracelets. but they were given to me as gifts, and that's why it was just so sad. Leaving was so sad. It was so sad because they were just like, Maya, I have this bracelet for you, and I'm just like, I literally cannot do this right now. But they're so sweet. So I brought home bracelets. I brought home an outfit. I got a dress made from a local tailor while I was
Oh,
there.
that's nice. So you had the whole experience.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we actually got to wear it on the day that Ramadan was over, if
Oh.
I'm saying it correctly. And so that's when everybody goes out. Ramadan is over, so they're celebrating. And so that's when we got to wear those dresses. So I think that's. Oh, I also brought home hibiscus leaves, hibiscus flowers, dry hibiscus.
Nice.
But
Nice.
I still haven't boiled them. I think I'm just going to keep them in the bag forever.
No, they got some. You go to YouTube and go get some recipes. I think, yeah, I did one the last time. I know my weird self, but I was looking for a fennel to pour it out, and I didn't even get a fennel in the house. Can you imagine? But yeah, I think you need pineapple and some ginger and some just to cook it, and yeah, and then your sugar. Yeah, so it's not hard to try. So I can give you that Senegal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched my host mother make it a number of times. She was just like wishing the sugar around. So yeah.
That's nice. So now you came home, and how was it like coming home? Now you were culture shock when you were in Senegal. Now you are back. Can you give people some of the emotions that you had to go through now that you are back home, and how did you how were you able to tell that story to friends and family? Because sometimes it's hard to really express all that has been boiling inside of you. It's hard. I don't know. I went through that. So
Yeah. So coming back home, it's probably the biggest readjustment is just now not being around people all the time. So now being by myself all the time. And then through the Global Scholars Program, they actually mentored us to execute these projects, to express what we learned or what we went through during our trips. And so how I did it, I did a long report about what I learned in the research, of course, but to be coupled with that, I also did portraits and paintings of some of the individuals that I met while I was there. And at the showcase, I presented these portraits, and I do have those portraits up on my website, and things of that nature. This behind me is actually one of the paintings that I did. What'd you say?
show us, please. I want to see you.
Sure.
Really doing an internship overseas.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. It's really big. It's really big. It's actually two. It's actually two large paintings, but this is one of them.
Wow.
It's really hard to adjust.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
And I
But
see the flag.
what'd you say?
I see their flag in it too.
Yeah, and that was actually a direct translation of a picture that was taken of me and the Taliban's doing that activity where we were coloring. So how I was able to translate that story was through my art, and using my art to then explain the backstories of what I painted.
Mm.
So that's how I was able to communicate.
Okay. Ben, you have anything?
No, that's awesome. So, do you have anywhere else you plan to go? Do you have any more
Future
traveling?
plans and everything?
Well, I definitely want to go back to the places that I've already visited. I would love to go back to Souvenirs, Senegal. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, it
But
sounds like you had fun.
yeah, I did. It was really great. life-changing experience, learned a lot. And I definitely encourage people to do the same, to go abroad. And even if you have to save up, like it's definitely worth it. Um, so yeah, but new places, I don't have any in mind. I know that I want to go to more countries in Africa,
Okay.
but I just don't, like, I feel like I'm pretty neutral about all of them when it comes to picking what's next. So yeah.
Before we even end, we have like a few minutes. I keep saying we have a few minutes. So yeah. Anyway, so I just want to ask this. Some people have this notion that you have to be in politics or be in the international relations, to do a study abroad. And here we are. We have you are in the arts there. So I want. Did you meet anybody that were in a different field whilst you were in Senegal that were doing an internship or study abroad? I just want you to advise people that every major is welcome to do an internship or a study abroad or a volunteer abroad. It's not only those who want to be in the government or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the other volunteers that I met, they were there for a much shorter period of time. Um, so I didn't really get to catch their majors or anything. They were just more so on volunteer trips. But the other young woman that I was staying with, her focus was teaching English. And so she also got to do that at the center. So she's not an artist, but that's something that she wanted to have practice on to help get her closer to her career goals. So whether it's fine arts, teaching English, there's definitely a place for everybody. You just have to find which nonprofit organization best suits your interest or your field of interest.
Thank you. So family, what she said and what I want to summarize is that there is a place for you in your field. But just like we need all hands on deck in the government, the same way, whatever your major is, there is something for you. And even with when it comes to scholarships and stuff, they have scholarship for different majors. Even if you are in the fashion industry, they have money for you. They have the sports envoy. They have the arts and the music. They have everything now. Even they have the arts, and then they have the tech, and they have the teaching. So there is no shortage of. Is there money for me to study abroad or intern abroad or volunteer abroad if I choose to go to this route? You don't have to be doing international relations, so you want to go to the UN. People think, oh, doing a study abroad is like your career path is supposed to be the United Nations or World Bank or something like that. But no, the whole idea is that you have to tell your own story. Myah went to Senegal to tell her story about what makes America. America is diverse. America has different spectrum of people. And you going there, you are showing your face. You are showing who you are. You are helping tell the story about what makes America great, what makes America beautiful, what makes America more diverse and more welcoming. And that is the main goal. That go there for yourself and experience that culture. And to me, I would say that something that I've taken from my stuff is that when it was in networking, you never know who you're gonna meet and how the whole education abroad is going to impact your career life. I've been in places whereby just conversational wise, you meet somebody and oh, you've been to Senegal, you've been to China before, like it just conversation like that. And it just you they knowing that you have traveled outside the US, it gives them that sense of you are mature, first of all. And then you are adaptable and you are versatile and you are very open-minded to learn about different people and stuff. Because now in the boardroom, it's not only Americans are in the boardroom. You have the Indians, the Chinese, different people all over the world who are moving the fabric or the financial fabric of America. So having that international education background, it helps you to really relate relate to this stuff. So we're gonna end here by allowing Myah to give us, I would say, 5 advice. I know throughout our whole conversation, she's been giving us some nuggets, some advice, like things to pack and all those things, and language and all those stuff. But I want her to just summarize it that, hey, in all my, if you don't take anything from me today, I want you to take this advice from me. And it can be more than 5 Myah. It's all up to you, giving you that yeah.
No problem. So what I would say is to one, never doubt your ability. Because me personally, I did have a bit of doubt when I started applying, but it's like once you hit it one time, you're going to feel that rush and you're going to want to do it again of being successful. And so if it's your first time, you're probably going to doubt yourself, but try your hardest not to, because you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. I remember this saying, it's like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so if you just take a shot, there's some percentage of, some chance of you getting it. The second thing I would say is when you're on a streak of success, you're going to encounter imposter syndrome, feeling like you don't deserve that experience, or feeling like you didn't do enough, or somebody else should be in your shoes. But you should always remember that, God placed you there on purpose. Like, that wasn't an accident. So do what you have to do and live out your mission. And then I would also say to be proactive. Don't don't exchange your money later. Get your plane tickets on time. All of those things. And also, the fourth one I would say is to don't just hear, listen, because when you encounter all of these resources and opportunities, it's very easy to just let them pass you by and, oh yeah, that sounds nice, may apply to that, but really listen and catch what's coming your way. Take some time out to actually read about it. Take some time to maybe open your application account, but do something to get closer to what you're trying to achieve, because you never know, that opportunity that you're just letting pass by may be your blessing or your opportunity to do what you've always dreamed of doing. And then the fifth piece of advice, I would say, remain humble in everything that you do. I feel like being humble has gotten me a lot of places that I could have easily been turned back around if I was too, cocky, or if I thought I had it in a bag. So I always remain humble, because that's how I have a saying. I say, remain humble, because that's how you keep your blessings flowing. So definitely do that. So that's my 5 pieces of advice.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Letitia, you have any final thought?
Nah, thank you. Like she has. Thank you, Myah, for in this short while you have come and you have really been very open. Every idea, everything that you have, you did not hide it. You have given it to people, and we want to say thank you so much. And we want to end that the Gilman Scholarship is about to be due. I think it's due October 3rd. Let me double check. Yeah, I think it's due October. Myah used a Gilman Scholarship and her school's study abroad scholarship, and the deadline is in October 3rd. So that is what I can say, that they have the boring scholarship and stuff. So when you go to EBI, you will be able to see all the scholarships that is out there for you to apply. And if you need any help, we are here as a team, as a group to support you. So whatever that you are looking for, to just send us an email and say, hey, I want to do this. How do I start? And we will be more than happy support you, assist you, and guide you. But above all, your first place is your international education center on your campus. And if you are in high school, your guidance counselor. That's where you start the whole conversation. And
Yeah.
today, EBI, we are all about international education, that we keep saying. So we've launched our Brenda A. Brown Passport Scholarship today, and we are giving passport to first ever passport to U.S. citizens who are in high school and college to get their first ever U.S. passport. So the application is open. It will be closed in November 2nd. So you have from now to November 2nd to apply. So that's what we want to end up with. That we are here. We want to support. We want to encourage you. And what we are doing to help encourage you is that to help you get your first ever U.S. passport. And again, EBI, we serve anyone in the United States and even around the world. We don't limit who we serve. So we even help international students who want to even come to the US. We have programs that we share with everybody. We don't, anybody that asks for our help, we are more than ready to support. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, if you need anything, definitely visit our website at expanding boundaries.org, because we know travel brings freedom. Travel brings what? Travel brings opportunities. Travel helps you to find yourself. So don't limit yourself. Go full out. Now that we are in COVID-19 season, there are so many programs out there for you to do a virtual internship. Don't, so even now it's a good time. If you don't have the money for plane ticket, you can definitely tap into applying to these virtual internships out there. And then they have some study abroad programs that you don't have to be in the country. You can still tap in there, have international connection, a classroom that is people from all over the world. You never know how those things will lead to something else great in the future. So even though it's COVID season, try to still connect yourself. We call it isolated but still connected. In this world, nobody's an island. So find a way to learn about the beautiful world that you reside in. Okay. So thank you so much. And we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for